morning, everyone. My name is Avia Munir. My colleagues and I here represent Hill's Pet Nutrition Company. While my team was finishing setting up, we thought it'd be a great idea to involve you guys in an activity. What we want you guys to do is go ahead and name the animal in the picture in front of you. You guys will also find that there is a number behind the photo. The number is what we're going to use to execute our statistics. Holly?
Hi everyone, my name is Molly, and this is my animal. Her name is Patches, and I got her when I was 4. My mom found her in a farmer's barn and brought her home to me, which was a pretty good idea, because my dad had a temper and my mom had an enabling personality. I spent just so many hours crying and hiding and wondering what was wrong with me. But there's one person who never judged me, one person who always said, "It's going to be okay." And that was Patches. Now the hard part is that in August, at 22 years old, Patches finished her journey. She gave me 22 years of comfort. She told me that it would be okay. I don't know how I could have survived without her. There's no statistic, no matter how strong, that can represent everything that she gave to me. All I can say is this 7 pounds of fur, she saved my life. I think we're ready to begin.
Okay guys, we're going to have all of you stand up. So, with your pictures in your hand, you guys have your animals have just arrived at the shelter. Okay? So we're going to start with the first round of good news. 34% of these animals have been adopted. We would like the holders of the following numbers to please sit down. Numbers 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, and 28 to please sit down. Okay, so of the remaining, the rest of these animals don't have homes, okay? But they're really healthy and cute. So the shelter manages to make room to retain 19% of you guys. So will the holders of the following numbered animals please sit down? 6, 12, 18, 23, 26, and 30. Unfortunately, the ones who are standing, you represent the portion of animals that are euthanized in 2013 by the SPCA of Dallas by a ratio. Okay, 47% of the animals taken during 2013 faced euthanasia. Will the holders of the remaining numbered animals please sit down? Okay.
I want to start off by giving you guys some pretty scary statistics about the animal population in Dallas. As it says behind me, last year the Dallas SPCA took in over 30,000 animals. Almost half of that many are dead now because they were euthanized. Only 11,000 of them were adopted. And at any given moment in the city of Dallas, there's over 500,000 stray animals walking the streets, which means, according to these numbers, there's over 400,000 more animals that are out there that didn't even make it to the shelter. Cats, for example, reproduce at an astounding rate. There's over 146 million cats in the United States, and because the population is so big, there's simply not enough households in the U.S. to hold that many cats. And so what we're left with is, again, just an absolutely amazing amount, astounding amount of stray cats in the Dallas area. Recently, animals have been utilized more for meaningful roles in society, apart from just being pets and something that gives your kids some good times. For example, dogs are being used more and more for services to help those with mental disorders. There's a service called Canines for Hope that connects ex-veterans with dogs. And these dogs are connected with these veterans that are suffering from PTSD and helps their transfer into society more easy. And there's dozens of other services like this that help children and adults with autism and Alzheimer's, and they give them hope, and it's a great thing.
As you can see, we have a very clear plan to begin improving the lives of animals and people immediately with Paws-on education. Starting in summer of 2014, 2015, Hills will sponsor a free summer camp for DISP students. And at the successful graduation from this camp, the children's parents may adopt an animal from that shelter, and Hills will foot the bill to kickstart this brand new and amazing relationship. This summer camp will be divided into a children's camp with a focus on basic pet care, engaging and educating children, and the hope that they'll be able to live long and friendly lives with their animal with little to no chance of abandonment. Now, where it gets really interesting is the youth camp. The youth camp will teach you not only basic animal care, but advanced care, TNR, and basic animal biology. After a signed consent form and liability waiver is provided, the children will attend the camp at the local shelter for 3 to 4 weeks. They will have hands-on training with pre-tested animals for normal behavior by the staff. And each child will get to select a companion. So if the child chooses a cat, he'll be partnered with a child who has chosen a dog. This means that not only will every child learn how to take care of dogs and cats, but it will teach them how to communicate and develop team learning skills. The next plan is the how. We plan to create commitment by utilizing primarily volunteers in this effort. Each volunteer will have a background check performed by Hills Legal, free of charge, and all of those amazing volunteers still have a chance to attend the summer camp. They'll get a chance to be an important part of their children's education, and they can really revitalize learning about animals. Now, in order to get the children into the classroom, Hills Advertising will provide brochures to local DISP science teachers free of charge, which they can recommend to the students. And on top of that, every DISP science teacher can recommend to us a student they think would really excel. The enrollment applications will be done through a basic Hills website attached to ours, no problem. And the enrollment applications will be processed primarily by Hills volunteers at the shelter, and the shelter will have the final say in which children get to attend. All we get to do is sift through the busy work and watch the dreams accrue. Oh, one final note. All the children who graduate will be given special consideration for future Hills scholarships. Next slide. And this is a sample lesson. This is called TNR, and it will be taught to all of our youth students. TNR is very simple. It's a way to control cat colony populations because they can get out of control so quickly. All you do is you trap. The cat is caught in a humane trap, which is provided by the shelter, and then they're delivered to the shelter. The shelter simply takes the animal to a local vet, and a lot of DFW vets do free TNR neutering for shelters to help control the cat populations. The cat's also given a lot of shots, such as against rabies, and once the animal's completely recovered, they're ear-tipped, which means the very tip of their ear is removed, so good Samaritans know that animal's already neutered. I can just let it do its kitty life. So, finally, the cat is taken back to the location where it was trapped and freed, and food and water are provided so they can just live out their natural kitty lives free of more kittens. So, one of the most interesting parts of this is not only are you just helping cats outside, but a lot of those cats outside are feral. That means they have no chance of rehabilitation. They have no chance of fitting into a human home. This gives them a chance to survive without making the problem worse. And here to tell you about the staffing and budgetary requirements which can make this dream a reality is Jen.
Good morning, everyone. Now I'm going to be talking about the staff. For this project, we're only going to want people that are going to be enthusiastic and passionate about this, because they are going to be working with children, young adults, and animals for 3 to 4 weeks. We are going to have 2 classes. The first one is going to be for the children. They are only going to have one veterinarian that is going to teach them the proper way to take care of the pets and also teach the children way to train the pets. Now the children are going to be interacting with the pets also, so we're going to have 10 volunteers that are going to be there to supervise. Now for the second class, which is the youth one, we are going to have 2 veterinarians that are going to be there to teach them a higher level of understanding and knowledge about the pet's health. The students are going to be given an introduction course for anatomy, physiology, behavior correction, and also animal disease. Moving on into the budget, we are going to be funding a shelter for 5 years, providing them with animal food and also for any necessities that they may have throughout the years. The next category is the adoption fee, which is roughly going to be $18,000. Now, all of the children are not going to be able to adopt because they need to have the consent of the parents. So the money that is left over is going to go back to the shelters, again, for any necessities that they may have. Now, on the staff, we're not gonna have a cost because they are gonna be volunteering, and we're gonna also add to that the food and miscellaneous, which is adding the sanitation and stationery, and also for any necessities that the staff need. So the grand total is only gonna be $45,360. Now, according to the OXPEC, the yearly cost for taxpayers to impound shelters and euthanize homeless animals is estimated to be $2 billion for just 1 year. Now, we're not asking for a lot, but we're trying to help the Dallas Community College and Dallas community, and also provide animals for these pets. Now, how he's going to be continue with the financial effects.
Thank you, Janet. All right, well, we know that everyone would save every cute kitten and puppy they could if it was free, right? I mean, that's not the concern here. But for a relatively small investment, that's less than the cost of taking in 22 cats or 14 dogs. We can save Dallas money. Now, those costs up there for intake, they don't even include the additional costs which can't always be accrued to every pet, such as animal control, animal negligence investigations. That's just the cost for the shelter to get the animal from their doorstep to a home in 1 year. So we can save Dallas $104,600 in the first year alone. That's 5 times your investment. And that's money that the shelter can put towards taking care of other animals which really need their care. We're talking about infants, elderly animals, special needs patients. And in 5 years, if every one of our students successfully gets just one animal off the street, does just one successful TNR, or even just talks their neighbor into neutering their pet for the good of the society, that is an effect of an astounding 336,364 animals not on the street, saving Texas $385.8 million in Dallas. And just so you know, the number of animal attacks, that's going to go down, along with the subsequent rabies testing costs. It's $80 a test to test for rabies. That's up to $30,480 per year. And just so you know, that rabies test, it's fatal to the animal. This project, it's not just good for the Dallas pocketbook and the animals, it's good for Dallas children. Look at that picture up there. You see that cute little girl? Her name's Iris. And you see her best friend, the fuzzy one? Her name's Thula. See, Iris has autism. She takes a lot of comfort in painting, and her painting is so beautiful that her parents can sell her art in order to fund most of her therapy and sometimes even donate to local charities. According to Iris's mother, Thula's constant presence and gentle nature is having a remarkable effect upon Iris, who's nonverbal most of the time. I'm hearing more words. Iris is giving instructions to Thula. Their relationship is based on companionship. That fuzzy friend is giving Iris the gift of speech. Now, our companions, they aren't just here to help developmentally challenged children. Pet ownership helps with social development, including communication, empathy, and intrinsic responsibility development. That means that the child learns to care for the animal by choice. And the best part about kids is that they aren't quiet, right? I mean, kids, they spread information, and they spread it fast. So what happens when a child gets good at something, gets excited about something? They share it with their friends. So we may only have 80 students in every summer camp, but think of every show and tell. Think of every sleepover. That's what we at Hills call information spread. Considering all the good that animals can do, it makes you wonder what those big numbers are, right? Those numbers are the numbers of euthanasias performed by the SPCA of Texas and Dallas in 2009 and 2013. Look at that picture in your hand. That's not just a bundle of fur. That's a little girl's champion. That's a little boy's adventuring buddy. That's learning to communicate. That's a friend who doesn't judge, who takes in all your tears and just turns them into kisses. And that number, that is 2.5 animals every hour dying instead of going through someone's life by their side. Do you know what one of the worst parts of this is? Some animals, they'll go through this terrible ordeal multiple times. According to Oxford, 70% of acquired pets are abandoned or surrendered. Eventually, that animal is going to be abandoned when he's too old for anyone else to want to adopt him. At this point, the shelter has to make a decision. The animal's too old to be adopted. He's not getting the care and the affection that he needs to survive. So, they have to get rid of him in order to make room for a more adoptable animal. that age when they have to make that decision is 6 to 7 years. That's not 12 years. That's not 22 years. That's 6 to 7 years old. So the way that I see it, we have 2.5 reasons every single hour to fix this problem. Here to tell you about our effects on population is Adia.
Okay, so these bar graphs, each color represents a single biodome of one male cat and one female cat. So for the blue, you see if you have one, you start off with one male cat and one female cat, and you leave them to breed for 5 years, and you do not neuter or spay either one of them, what's going to happen is you're going to amount to about 11,000, over 11,000 cats in that single biodome. Now, if you do 25% neutering, for every litter, there's about 5.6 that survive. Cat kittens for cats. So what's going to happen is you're only going to drop to 2,800 cats. In the third biodome, if you neuter about 50% of the cats and spay the others, what's going to happen is we're actually going to drop into the hundreds. And the last one's purely fictional. It's really impossible to do 75% neutering and spaying. But if we were actually capable of doing that, we would actually just have 14 cats in the biodome. Any questions?
Actually, that is an excellent point. We primarily use cats in there because the cat population growth, I felt like there was a lot more support for a standard number of 5.6 per year. Whereas for dogs, it kind of varied. They said 4.2, other places said 4.8, and there's a lot more dog breeds that can't breed or have a lot of problems when they crossbreed. So we selected cats for more uniform data. Yes, sir.
Do the kids pay for the animal at the end of the...
Nope, Hills pays for that.
We cover the adoption fee.
Yes, ma'am.
Do these animals become true working animals, like afterwards? Like the one that helped with the speech problem, and then, because they have to go through a lot of training and become
Actually, Thula just turned up on their doorstep and inherently attached to Iris, which is what we hope would happen with a lot of the animals that are adopted. There won't be any special training for them provided by health.
Any more questions? Thank you for your time.